gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on your mind, on your health, yeah. You gotta work, never tell, keep your head down, find what you love and excel, yeah. Push and pull.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's phone review is a brand new one. Instead of doing a boring step-by-step manual style breakdown of the Realme Neo8, let's skip all that. No need to reinvent the wheel. We'll stick to what really matters. 3 strengths, 2 weaknesses, and 1 buying tip. So let's jump right in and talk about the new Realme Neo8. A quick shout out to my tech partner from China for sharing this video. A big thank you for making this possible. Hey everyone, it's Maiky from techmaiky. If you love staying updated with the latest gadgets, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our exciting tech content. First up, let's quickly check out the design. How does it look to you? Honestly, the Neo series has always gone bold with its styling, and most of the time it actually works. Since the Neo7, we've seen this striped, mecha-inspired look, and now it's evolved into a mix of circuit-style lines with lighting effects. The back panel is glass, and the camera module sticks out slightly. From the side, you can notice a semi-transparent effect. The outer frame of the camera housing seems to be plastic, while the lenses themselves are glass. There's also a small RGB light on the back, which adds a fresh, playful touch. Overall, the phone has a boxy shape, and the rear design definitely stands out. On the front, the bezels are handled pretty well. The chin is a bit thicker, but honestly, you don't really notice it, especially since the phone itself is fairly large. Inside, it's powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5. And like I've said before, I don't really see this as a true flagship chip. I'm not sure why everyone keeps marketing it that way. Maybe it's a Qualcomm thing, who knows? But anyway, let's move on to what really matters, the 3 main advantages. The first big win here is the display. This screen is seriously impressive. For its price and positioning, getting a 165Hz panel is huge. I like to call it a sky-level screen. It uses M14 luminous material, which is the same type found on the iPhone 17 series. Normally, you only see this level of display tech on high-end flagships like the iQOO 15. Even among value-focused phones, only top-tier models usually get something like this. The manual peak brightness hits 1000 nits, and it supports full brightness DC dimming. In real-world use, it looks great. The screen feels clean, sharp, and easy on the eyes. Viewing angles are also solid, and overall visibility is excellent. The second advantage is the high-performance panel setup. This might not seem like a big deal at first, but it actually matters a lot. By default, the phone runs at high frequencies, and this helps reduce cloud-based performance throttling. During summer especially, many brands quietly limit performance to control heat. It's basically an open secret at this point. What's nice here is that users get more control over CPU and GPU scheduling. That means if you've got good cooling, like an external fan or cooler, you can push past those limits and keep the phone running at full power for a much smoother gaming experience. The third highlight is the telephoto camera. For a phone in this segment, this is a really big deal. You're getting a 50 megapixel periscope telephoto lens with 3.5x optical zoom, which is almost unheard of at this price. It performs especially well for architecture shots and portraits. On top of that, the main camera is also 50 megapixels, backed by a large 1.56-inch sensor. For a mid-range, gaming-focused phone, combining a big main sensor with a periscope telephoto is honestly a pleasant surprise. Sure, the 8-megapixel ultra-wide lens feels more like a placeholder, so we won't take that too seriously. Alright, that wraps up the 3 key advantages. Alright, now let's move on to the downsides. Keep in mind, these are a bit subjective, just my personal thoughts after using the phone. The first thing that disappointed me is the back panel. To be honest, it feels like a fake transparent design. From the early leaks and promotional images, I was really excited. I thought we were getting a true transparent back with visible internal elements and layered detailing. But in reality, it's just regular glass with a printed coating underneath. When you look at a disassembled Realme Neo8, it becomes clear what's going on. The back panel is basically a single coated layer without any special structural treatment. Because of that, the circuit board patterns and mecha-style elements don't have much depth. They look flat instead of three-dimensional. The overall finish just didn't live up to the expectations I had. And as you can see, the glass back also picks up fingerprints pretty easily. The second drawback is the battery. Now, don't get me wrong, 8,000 mAh sounds big, and it's definitely not small, but we have to look at the competition. For example, the Honor Win RT packs a 10,000 mAh battery. The OnePlus Ace 6T comes with 8,300 mAh. Even the iQOO Z11 Turbo, which has a smaller and more refined body, still manages to include a 7,600 mAh battery. So when you compare it like that, the 8000 milliamp-hour unit inside the Realme Neo 8 doesn't feel especially impressive considering the phone's size and overall feel in hand. Now let's talk about whether you should buy it. If you're a gamer, this phone actually makes a lot of sense. And if you also enjoy using your phone to capture everyday moments, it becomes even more appealing. The display quality, the flexible performance control, and the camera setup are all strong points. Coming back to that telephoto lens, I really think it's one of the highlights. It covers a wide range of daily shooting scenarios. Personally, I rarely use ultra-wide cameras unless I'm traveling and shooting landscapes like mountains or rivers. In everyday life, I mostly rely on the main camera and the telephoto. The main camera gives you the widest standard focal length, while the telephoto is extremely useful for things like food photography, objects, or even small toys. In my opinion, a good telephoto lens is essential, and the one here performs very well. As for pricing, the base version of the Realme Neo 8 starts at 1,399 yuan in China, which is roughly 255 pounds in the UK and about 433 US dollars. And that wraps up this video covering the pros and cons of the Realme Neo 8. Hopefully, this breakdown made it easier for you to decide whether it's the right phone for you. If you found this helpful, don't forget to drop a free like. And if you're feeling extra supportive, go for the triple combo: like, comment, and share. I'll see you in the next one.